This is a Silk exclusive.
Welcome back to Words, Music, Dance, episode 19. I'm your host, as always, Paulie the Bull, and this is a 2021 vision. You know, hit that up on all social media, all day, every day. Catch new episodes every Wednesday, and a lot of other content on YouTube whenever I feel like posting it. All right. And today I am joined with
Black management.
What? Jared, Mr. Ad-Libs over here, trying to be the fourth member of the Migos. Jared,
You ain't gonna leave me out of bed, booty.
Jared, give me social media because you always say something that we need to make sure that people know where to find you at.
Yeah, controversial. Around the World 85. That's me on Instagram, the Delta Man 85, I think, on Twitter.
You don't even know his own social media.
I don't really go on Twitter, so I ain't bother doing that. Just Instagram me.
And to my left, got the homie Benjamin.
How you guys doing?
What's going on, Ben? Give him your info.
Instagram is the22. See, I remembered it.
Yeah, good job. See, he remembered his. Yeah.
I
You got mad at me the one time that I put the wrong number in, and now I just copy and paste.
He's in the future.
Yeah. But welcome, gentlemen. Another week in the books. Another episode. On the platform.
Yes, sir.
The
non-Skype version.
I'm glad to have you in person.
Yes, the Netscape. It was interesting.
Did you guys watch that?
Cool.
I did see it.
You told me
I saw it.
It was better than you thought it was going to come out.
Yeah, because there was so much lag between you. And I was watching on my laptop. I was like,
I should have been more like Stephen A. Smith, though, I feel.
I mean, that was a test run, but I knew we were going to be on it for like an hour or so. So I'm like, we might as well just record it and use it. I wasn't going to waste that hour. I'm like, listen, we'll go with it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll do it live. So I did came out cool. We'll use it again in some way, form, or fashion. But it came out better than I thought.
yeah, I thought it was.
As
I
always.
started cutting me out. I started talking about Conor McGregor.
Well, I chopped a little bit off, to clean it up a little bit. But it was a good try. I think it worked.
Yeah,
I think it works.
I think it was alright.
But since we're talking about being on camera, let's talk about the boy Tristan Thompson.
Oh boy.
and his escapades. Recently. So when we record, I think we recorded that episode. What, Monday? It was like Monday.
Yeah, it was
recorded that
Monday.
a Monday ago.
Monday.
And I think it was Tristan. That news had just broke, or like the day after, or something.
I think it came middle of the week.
Right. So we just missed the good stuff. So we're a little bit later than now, but
Because it happened after the Nick game.
Right. But hey, we here every week, so we catch up on it real quick. So Tristan was caught first. Which happened first? Was it the two girls first?
I think the two girls and that.
Yeah.
So first
black and white
it was in a club, club somewhere. Two chicks, no cups, just him, and he motorboated one of the girls. So
He did.
I mean,
well, no, I saw the man was pushed into her bosom.
correct.
He was
He
sexually
was making
assaulted.
out with the
Sexually
other one,
aggressive.
though.
She was sexually aggressive towards
He
him.
was like, no, stop. Oh, God.
So he had that moment in the club, interaction with both ladies, and then he was seen.
Was it the third lady in there? Because I saw another girl come in high five, like, hey, girl.
Possibly. I mean, that footage was, basically TMZ got a hold of some footage. That was like the club's camera.
Right.
So they caught him in the club. But then as he left another club or another night or whatever, we got all the full details, we don't really care. But he was seen with another female who has a history with men in sports and used to be a star tender, and she's a known
Commodity.
vixen in these streets. She's out here, she out here. And they were seen leaving the club together, getting out of his car, going to the hotel where the team stayed at, which
She was going to a pep rally, that's all.
with him
She was his guest a pep rally on
to his room.
We don't know.
So it was Ye team.
We don't know.
We know. So
We
okay.
don't know what room he was in, and she went.
Well,
to
we
that
know they
room.
was going to the hotel. She stayed at the same hotel as the team.
She could have been a cuddle.
Who?
She could have been in it just to cuddle.
To cuddle.
You know?
So
He married, man.
So are we aware? Right.
That's why
They're not married. They're not married. However,
Oh, that's right.
they're not married.
They just
but
having
he
kids.
is.
You're right. You're right.
So
They are
you know,
together.
fast
They
forward,
are together,
him and
yes.
Chloe.
You are right.
She was pregnant at the time. Recently had the baby.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Third
But-
trimester.
right. It might have been sped up because of the news. You know. But paparazzi was on point with that. They hopped out the truck. You can hear the clicks of the camera in the background. The shutters is going. They in the bushes and this dude looks right at the camera. He makes eye contact with the camera and still proceeded to go about his business. So it was just like, he made so many mistakes. I don't condone cheating. Let's put that out there for the record. But if you are going to cheat, OJ style, if you would cheat,
How you gonna cheat on? He gonna cheat on OJ's illegitimate daughter?
It's just so many connections to the story. But making eye contact with the camera, so you know you out there, bringing her to the team hotel, where LeBron might have walking in the hallway with his Bible in his hand.
Word, he took some Bible study after.
Yeah. Because he's still with his high school sweetheart. But so what do we think about Tristan? And now this is the interesting thing because women always talk about they want consistency.
Mm-hmm. He's consistent.
He's consistently a cheater in the third trimester of his baby mama's pregnancy. So
I didn't even think about that.
you know what I'm saying? Like, is that not consistency? Because Chloe,
It's the bad consistency.
it's bad. Okay, so there's a good and a bad consistency.
Yeah,
it's like fat. It's
Be
like trans fat.
be consistent at doing good things,
Oh,
not bad.
so women got
things.
to be more specific.
Everybody.
When you ask for consistency, be clear on
Specify
what you're
what you
asking
need.
for, because a consistent
Right.
cheater
'Cause
is
Look,
gonna.
to be fair, if they're just in a relationship and they never said to each other we're exclusive, then right? I don't know the details of a relationship, but I'm just saying that's why details are important.
Details are very important.
Just saying.
Now, I have my own. All right, look. Did he do it? Yeah, he did that.
Do what? Did he do what? Did he cheat?
He smashed.
Oh.
But but to me, that's not the shock.
Oh, okay. Oh,
To me, it's not a shock.
the plot thickens.
Here's why I say it's not a shock. Here's why I say it's not a shock. Because he did have, I don't know the other girl, his first baby mama, name, I don't know her name, but yes, when she was in her third trimester, he got with Chloe, who in her third trimester, he stepped out too. Now, Chloe is not dumb. She should know, I picked dude up, like that. I should kind of expect him to be like, I'm feeling kind of frisky, but I know you ain't trying to do anything either, so can I step out? She's a Kardashian. This is the kind of news that they want. Kardashians love attention. Whether he is the
I'm gonna be fair and say that's they can't.
this is what they need. They need
Another
to be talked
conspiracy
about.
theory from
They
Jared.
need to be talked about. Kardashians
I
need to
get
be
that.
talked about. Whether it be from the guy, you ever heard anything about Kardashian since Rob and Black China? Kim has been out of the Kim and Kanye have been out of the news. So really, there's been kind of quiet fronts on the Kardashian on the Kardashian front line. So Tristan doing this is like, okay, fine, we're back in the news. But everybody just jumps and say, oh, Tristan cheated. Being that Chloe, did scoop Tristan up,
I get
during that.
Yeah.
Who's to say nobody's ever disputed or even asked probably, did Chloe give him the pass?
So he had a hall pass, which is
This I'm thinking, mate, is a possibility. Because nobody,
Playoffs about to start.
everybody just says, oh, he cheated, he's a bad guy, whatever. But it's a possibility that maybe Chloe's like, I'm not feeling this, whatever. I'm just focusing on this, or I'm not feeling the move. You can do what you want. Just be discreet about it. She probably just wanted to be discreet about it.
Was that discretion?
But this camera's all over, so she's like, damn, this idiot right here done got going all over TMZ.
I don't know. It's possible, but I don't know. For a pregnant woman,
She could.
I don't know.
It's not just she's not just any regular pregnant woman.
I get that, but it's not. I don't know. That's too much. I think. I don't think somebody will go that far just for a rating.
I just think, well, he's the Kardashians. You know what they are, right?
What?
There's a mom, dad. All right, there's a lot of things going on for ratings right now.
Mom, dad isn't even part of it because he went for that, right?
Listen,
I don't know. I'm
the views and opinions of Jared Hicks
Around 85.
always remain solely his and his only.
anytime you're being cheated by somebody that you think they're being loyal to you, again, because we don't know the exact dynamic of their, because people have open relationships, but
It does exist.
But I just feel like she's pregnant, she's about to give birth. I don't think that was something she was expecting. And I don't think he was thinking he was going to get caught.
That's
Whatever reason, I don't know why.
That was discretion.
Knowing that the world has cameras now.
All over.
All over.
Like she had the baby in like the same
Right,
week,
right.
like a day or two
A
after.
day after.
So are you saying that's gonna be an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians? That
Well, and that's the other thing I was going
that's
to
the
say.
season finale? Is that what you're saying?
That could be.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to say. Well, hold up. That was the other thing I was going to say is that in the past when there is something like for publicity, their filming crew is around and they get it, but the film crew is not.
No,
not
the
part of
film
it.
crew was around during her pregnancy and during
No,
her
the
around her
pregnancy is
getting.
fine, but I'm talking about following
talking about following
Tristan.
Tristan.
Yeah.
Oh well, following
Yeah.
Tristan probably.
Yeah, it did, and
But
Well,
the
we heard
whole-
the camera shutters, but there was somebody recording video.
No, but the whole I did hear that while the whole thing was coming out about Tristan doing this ever, like the cameras are rolling on Chloe. Like, okay, what's your reaction? So.
of course they're gonna do that.
So like I mean, and they say, well, you know, we don't try. I think VH1 or whatever does like, we don't try to tell them to do whatever. They just,
Right.
you know, if they want to record, we're
Right.
cool with that. So
Well, I believe they have to record everything and then they edit it out.
They do,
If they
right.
choose to not let it run it. So I guess that would be ultimately it. If
could
it ends up in the show, then you know it was part of it.
Right.
right, but I just say maybe. I just say
They
maybe
still have the
that.
show, right?
Yeah. I just say that
That's like
there's
the
a possibility
foundation
that
for-
she said, look, go and do your dirt, whatever, but because I'm about to give birth, so you ain't going to get nothing from me.
That's what I'm saying. It
You
is
ain't gonna get
possible.
none.
It's possible that they have an open relationship. I'm just. It's just messed up.
But she
The
can't-
optics are bad. The optics are bad.
It's
you
only
don't,
bad because he got
don't know,
caught
and you
on
don't know
camera.
all the story, right?
So he got back and he got caught again. But I was like, she could have said, look, be discreet about it. Please be discreet about
Maybe
it.
she did, and he was just.
And he was like, I got you. What you mean there's a camera right there? Literally right there.
You mean there's a camera in the lobby? Really?
Yeah. And a camera in the club.
Come on.
And like,
Cause you know he was thinking, you know, like in strip clubs, there's really no cameras like that. So he's thinking maybe no.
What are you talking about? There's no camera in strip clubs. I'm sure there
there's cameras
is.
everywhere.
There's cameras everywhere, bro. You
I'm
gotta
just
protect
saying,
your money.
They got and
I
the assets for that.
I feel as a customer, my discretion should be there.
Yeah,
don't
have-
record me while I.
Don't
Never,
you-
I can't say certain
don't
things.
you-
like
Did you see the Players Club? Dollar Bill had the TVs in the
Look,
back.
that
Like,
was he was a,
And not just that. You ever gone to a new
was a
club
scumbag.
and they put your ID?
the ID goes in the
That's
thing.
that,
remember?
you're in your software, bro.
Yeah.
You're in the
Yeah.
database.
yeah, man.
So, yeah.
Well, you know what? The only place I seen that happen was at Bam Bam's.
They had some spots down here too, like regular clubs that
just
do
regular
that too.
clubs,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or they do the they got the handheld drinks.
Yeah,
that,
they scan your and they have all your info.
So your whereabouts is there.
Yeah.
Like you were there.
Right. I just-
Timestamp 6
I just I knew I know where
And
everybody knows
then
where I'm
next
at.
Tuesday.
I was like, everybody know where I'm going to be at, but I just while I'm in there, I just don't want them knowing. You know,
Cameras.
I'm trying to like.
They got cameras there, man.
No,
there is-
They have cameras
Can't say
everywhere
things.
except for the bathroom. So don't go into details, but
I'm not.
just you just
saying.
know the cameras are watching you,
Yeah.
except for the bathroom. But
Allegedly.
everywhere else,
Yeah,
well, even there.
allegedly, right?
Right.
But
Allegedly.
the bathroom is supposed to be the only safe zone.
Allegedly.
Right.
Because anything else, especially in the business, you gotta protect your assets.
Right. Which I understand we definitely don't have a camera, definitely over the register or whatever. You know, it just
Yeah,
happened to
stores, like everything.
Right,
yeah.
you know, they
Register,
just-
but they have to have it on the crowd because
Yeah.
if there's a fight broke off, how you gonna explain it? Oh, there it is.
No
Who
question.
started it? I'm sorry, we live in a digital world. People
Exactly.
should know there's cameras.
You should know
everywhere.
that by now.
And
Jared.
even when you think
Nah,
there's no
I know
camera,
there's always a camera,
always
whatever.
think that
Always
there
I
is a
just think
camera.
I just say that he should have just paid more attention to what was going on. But either
No,
way,
he should have just kept it in his pants and just.
What did she say? Go and do it, though.
Wait until he had the baby, and then you figure out if you want to be with her or not.
but what if
All right.
but what if she said, look, go and do it?
We don't know.
We don't know.
That's
so
what I'm
I-
saying.
So it's-
you can't claim to be the bad guy.
We'll leave it up to that. Look out for that episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Will be season whatever, and maybe this will be mentioned.
It definitely would be bad.
I mean, like you said, if what you say is true that the cameras was there and they had all that, then they're definitely gonna mention it or
not
show
just
her
mention it, but they'll
reaction.
probably show a lot of it if it was for that.
And if you're right, if they have an open relationship, whatever, then they'll know how to handle.
Right.
Because allegedly, I don't know how true it is, but they're still together.
Right.
She took him back, so it's none of our business at the end of the day.
It's not.
We just talking about it, cracking jokes. It's out there. It's just in the world. But
I mean,
what they do,
memes, though.
what she does, she accepts him. The baby's here. He's got other kids. Hopefully, he takes care of all of his babies, no matter what relationship with the mamas. You know, we don't.
That's all I care
We
about.
can crack jokes on her being OJ's daughter and all that good stuff. We can't make sure the babies are good. You know, but also in the world of sports gossip / news, this previous week, the New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft visited Meek Mill in prison. Because he's trying to bring up some
to help push the issue along about the social injustice.
Right. So let's just focus on that part a little bit. And let me reiterate: the owner of the NFL's New England Patriots,
who is Donald Trump's buddy,
wants to. He of all people to push that agenda, visits Meek Mill. So it sounds like photo op, public relations looks good because hip hop, black people. Oh, this Meek Mill guy to keep saying hashtag free Meek Mill. Let me go visit him. It looks very suspicious.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, I don't buy his good intention with it. Right. Because I'm sorry, Meek Mills, but he's not like. Who cares? He's in jail. Like, you broke parole. All right, good for you. I don't see the big social injustice. He should actually be reaching out to somebody that's more involved with that. And that we mentioned off camera, I say, why didn't you go to Cap then? Get involved with his stuff, right?
Exactly. Because of all people, I mean, Colin Kaepernick, which we also spoke on previous episodes, visited Rikers, talked to some of the inmates that was being paroled soon. Got them suits for interviews. And these were guys that are not celebrities. These are guys that won't, the act isn't about just, let me go visit someone famous to let the people know what I'm doing. It was just like these guys, who he got a list of whatever, who's soon to be released. Okay, let me focus on these guys, get them acclimated with being back into the free world, because that's a hard transition for some people.
It is. So, it's a very difficult transition for many people because when you get out of there, you already shut off so many avenues of work. Right. Employment's basically closed off to you. And on top of that, you already have an economic problem already. Right. Which just gets aggravated even more with this. So for somebody to help out somebody that already has money, like, come on, man. Like that. And like I said, like Meek Mill's, I mean, he got it himself. I don't see the social injustice on that. Correct. Is it a bit harsh? Maybe. But then you don't break parole.
Right. I mean, and which we mentioned as well on prior episodes that he violated. A lot of people right now are screaming free Meek Mill, T-shirts, hashtags. Cool. He violated parole. Was his length of the parole a lot? Possibly. Right. But he did get it extended because he violated on numerous occasions on his own, doing. What do you think about Kraft visiting him? And what do you think they talked about? How did that conversation even went?
Oh, I know exactly what he said.
What?
So, you watched the Super Bowl? Philadelphia, huh?
I mean, that is an interesting thing because the Patriots lost to the Eagles of Philadelphia.
He probably said, look, I need you to go and talk to Nick Foles, tune him up a little bit, and have your boys. I seen them on the wheelies. I need you to crash, through a couple people, make sure my team get back in their win. Right. I don't know. I don't know what they talked about, to be honest.
It must have been an interesting conversation at least, though.
Yeah. Because they had nothing really, to me, they had nothing really in common to talk about.
Right. And that's why, to me, it just seems like a publicity thing. Just because right now the Pats have so much off the field troubles with Belichick and Brady and all this talk of they don't want Brady to use his trainer and all this nonsense. And they're saying that basically Kraft forced Belichick to give Garoppolo away. So all that friction, and I think it's just to kind of
A diversion.
Misdirection.
Misdirection, yeah. Classic
Classic
misdirection.
misdirection.
Exactly. And that's everything is misdirection.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, focus on this while we handle that.
Right.
So,
You know-
and that looks nice. It looks, look, he's reaching out. He
Maybe-
cares.
Right.
He doesn't, and I don't know. It's just
It's very-
such a
Maybe
weird.
Bob
It's such a weird thing. Like
Maybe Bob Kraft is another one of those older white people or older people on the internet who don't really understand it. So maybe he just heard of YouTube and he happened to go on a Meek Mill thing. He see the hashtag and happened to go on a Meek Mill song and,
Look.
and he heard Meek Mill talking about, I got all this cheese, and he was like, wait, hold on, I'm the owner of Kraft. How do you get all this cheese? This is my product.
look, Kraft maybe became a fan. I don't know. Whatever his thing is, whatever it is.
Right.
I just don't. I don't. Unless he does something more, like actually gets involved in trying to push the real issue of social injustice, and not just talk to a rapper that's in jail.
Right.
He's not doing nothing.
But what does Robert Kraft have to gain out of social injustice reform? Is he running for office?
No, but then his players will stop kneeling or wanting to kneel.
And that's where I think a lot of it comes back
It's
to.
basically that.
Because
You find the one random black guy that you need to.
Not random. It's not random at all.
It's not random.
He's a
but-
high profile person.
High profile, because like I said, of all inmates right now, OJ's free. So you can't go visit OJ. If
And
you're gonna
he's
look with
kind of out there.
Right.
So
But if you're gonna visit someone that's gonna create some sort of notoriety of little buzz, you know,
Right.
we're trying.
And Meek is trending. He has his little hashtag
Right.
and all that.
People are still doing it. Jay-Z still says it. A lot of people, Jay-Z and Beyonce just had a song with DJ Khaled. They both said, free Meek in it. So it's current.
So
You know what I'm saying?
So it's kind of like the Black Dynamite where you had to go down the whole line. So if you have, Robert Kraft and Goodell who want people to stop kneeling and so forth, so you have that as a start base. So then you go from there. So now I got to go down to see Meek Mill, who was linked to Jay-Z, saying I'm not going to perform for the Super Bowl because Colin Kaepernick don't have a job. So then if I go to Meek Mill, maybe Meek Mill will talk to Jay-Z and say, hey man, that kneeling stuff is alright. Just be that beat. Just focus on the game. Perform next time for next year's Super Bowl. Forget about all that Colin Kaepernick stuff. And then it goes back to saying to Kraft, and then Kraft's gonna be like, see guys, all that kneeling stuff, you ain't gotta do it no more. And then
Kind of. I'm not even thinking of that.
Right, I mean,
like that. But
right, you got your whole
mine is
Anaconda malt liquor story.
yeah.
Possibly, but you brought up Colin Kaepernick. So also recently, the Seattle Seahawks said they was inviting him to work out to possibly be a backup quarterback, because right now Russell Wilson is the only quarterback on their roster.
Yep.
So they said they spoke to Colin. They were going to call him up, and he ended up not going because they said they declined bringing him up because he said that he will not stop kneeling. Now, interestingly enough, because a whole season just went by with him out of the league, and kneeling was still happening.
Right.
And this is where a lot of people get caught up in the confusion, because they're like, is it because of his reason for kneeling, the injustice and so forth, what have you? But we all know last season the kneeling took a spin because it became, we're kneeling against Trump. Or, reasons became such and such. So
It started as one, then it branched out to
right. So, but
It
now
became
we know-
clouded. It became
right. It became
clouded.
right.
Because
So-
the initial thing was just the social injustice of how the police and the justice system treats
Right.
minorities.
Right.
That's basically what it was.
That was his purpose
Right,
for kneeling.
exactly.
And that's what those that followed suit with him 2 seasons ago were, of the same thought
Right.
process. This season, it became a whole other mess. So for the Seahawks to ask him to stop kneeling, where it's still not in the rule book, it's still not a rule that, the players have to stand and pledge to the flag. Now, if that is true or what have you, do we feel? I mean, because we all know a lot of people are saying that he's not in the league because of that. Some people try to say it was because of stats or because of performance.
Bull.
If they clearly said we're not bringing him back because he's going to continue to kneel, is that a big violation of some sort, or does that just prove what everyone's initial thought was, that the league blackballed him for the kneeling? Or
It's a
because we haven't got official statement from anybody.
Right, that's the problem.
We haven't
Nobody
heard,
gives an official
right,
statement.
we
That's
just heard
the problem.
ESPN said he didn't go because. We didn't hear the Seahawks say, we're not bringing him because of this reason. So,
You know, I just wish Cap would say something. Address it. I know he doesn't want to. He doesn't feel like he has to.
right.
But I think you get to a point that you might have to address something.
And this is the tricky part, because anything he says can and will be used against him.
And his,
I get that.
And that's the point, and that's the same reason why Seattle
Right.
hasn't released a
But he
statement.
can come in and say, look, if I get signed to a team, I'm gonna work 100%, do everything the team needs me to do. But
But we know what everybody's going to focus on.
I'm still
When are you gonna kneel?
I'm still gonna kneel.
Right.
I'm still doing my protest. But it has nothing to do with the game. It has nothing to do with the flag. Just
And
clear
that's the
it.
bailout. Because
Clear it.
once he says, I'm still going to kneel, then he'll get no phone calls. But
then,
it won't be them saying we're not calling him because he's going to kneel. It'll be them just saying he's not going to perform.
now,
So that's the catch.
And
If
it's
he
own-
gives them the out, then they use that, and they'll already feel like we're not going to call him.
they're not
But
calling him now. So what he's gonna
Well,
do?
apparently they did. Apparently
Seattle
Baltimore
did.
called them. Seattle called them.
Seattle called him twice actually now because that was because it seemed like this is the second time he was
Right. So
called.
Seattle called them twice. Baltimore called them.
A lot of the teams called him.
Some other teams called them, but again, they called, but they had their own personal conversation with him. If he comes out and says, I'm gonna kneel, then they won't call. Even if they don't call, nobody's gonna ask, well, why didn't you call? Because they're gonna, it's a bailout. So
Right.
him saying nothing, they have to still reach out to him at least, and we can kind of say, well, they're calling, but they're not letting him touch the field. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you think?
But but isn't that what the report was? The report was that he didn't go to Seattle because of him saying he's going to kneel. So
That's what I'm saying. So
isn't
at that point, it puts the onus on Seattle.
Yeah,
Because it's saying they called him in
and
and asked him. He said, "Yes, I'm still going to kneel." They said, "Okay, thank you for your time." Yeah, but he bails them out by saying it ahead of time, and they just won't call.
that's not a violation.
That's the thing. It should be considered a violation, and that's what I'm saying. If it's known that Seattle's saying we're not going to put him on the roster because he's going to kneel, that should be some sort of violation because and they have a union. When is the Players Association going to step up? Because it's nowhere in their rule book that they have to stand and salute.
I think right now it's just the whole he's doing the collusion case trial. I think that might also.
And it's hard to prove collusion
Yeah.
because you can't say that they all are joining forces to say it, but they're all thinking the same thing. And that's the hard part. So we all know that they didn't have to, they're like, hey, you're not going to sign up, me neither.
You never know, though. That's the thing.
Right, but can you prove
They
it?
could have been the tech. No, well, if they get depoted,
That's the hard part, right?
You
You
know,
gotta prove it.
it's like it isn't to me. That is more of a social injustice than anything. The man.
Well, hold on.
No,
You getting shot is pretty unjust.
I'm
Not getting a job.
No, I'm talking about in comparison to Meek Mill's situation.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I'm saying, in
his
comparison-
social justice conversation was bigger than the job.
In comparison to Meek Mill's thing, that's a social injustice because it's really not about his stats. Because for God's sakes, my damn Ravens signed Robert freaking Griffin III.
RG3.
So that is more of a social. That's more of a that's a wrong.
Mr. Glass himself.
It's not
That-
his stats because come on,
That's what I'm saying.
Got signed.
Thank you.
Come on.
A used car salesman got signed. Seriously. It's not about his stats. It's because he wants. He has taken on the role of being a man for the people, and they're like, no, forget the people. It's about our money. So him kneeling was about one thing and one thing only: injustice in America against minorities and so forth. Then it was spun around, it was convoluted, spun, weaved, and whatever into, oh no, it's about he hates America, he hates,
disrespecting the flag.
everything. It was
Well, that's the
everything,
thing, but you see-
which he got co-signed by soldiers.
Right.
So it's like,
But
nah,
that's-
they just had PTSD.
But see,
they didn't know what they're
that's
talking
what, see,
about.
but that's what I was telling you about. That's misdirection.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
misdirection.
You know,
Because
it's,
they make you focus on something else. Kind of like what they did with when the NFL paid off, I think it was $89 million to the Players Coalition.
Right.
That because they weren't with Cap really. That just look, they're being nice, and they were hoping that would make you stop focusing on that.
Right. Classic
but
misdirection.
it didn't happen.
Right.
At least to the degree that they were hoping for. So that's basically what it comes down to, and that's why I think that Kraft visiting Meek Mills is just that. They're
So
just trying
all in all, we feel like it's basically a political game.
Right.
Classic misdirection. There's an agenda. There's a purpose.
Right.
And that's all for it. So.
Right.
Right quick, Kraft, you're saying, well, Kraft wants to focus on social reform or injustice reform and so forth, but you had somebody who, a year or so prior to Meek Mill going to jail, was touting and bringing awareness to America into the NFL about social injustice.
Exactly.
And that was
And you
my
don't
point.
talk to the man who is talking about social injustice, who can't get a job in your own league.
And that's why I was telling you before, they don't really care about the injustices.
That's what I'm saying.
Kaepernick affected their money.
Yep.
That's why they don't want him in the league.
And that's why he don't want to
Because
talk to
he
Kaepernick.
affected their
the
money.
money, yeah.
Right. It's
the
not
money thing,
the
right.
injustices, those owners, those 32 teams, those 32 owners don't care, or 31, and then the Packers have the people.
Right.
They don't care about police, and they're in a whole other world. They don't see that. They don't care. All they know is bank statements, positive, profits and liabilities, assets and liabilities, what comes in. So Kaepernick affected their military income because they get a check from that. He affected their TV ratings because people stopped watching or whatever. So advertisers started pulling out. So he affected their bottom lines. They don't care who's getting shot, who's getting arrested. They know they're not.
Right.
They know they're not getting
And
arrested.
their kids.
Right.
And their
Their
kids
kids
and
are in gated communities living fine. So it's the money. Once you affect someone's money, that's when they start to try to,
Right.
work the system, do some misdirection, try to do this, and that's what it all comes down to. And the same thing with Kraft. We don't really know what his purpose is for that meeting with Meek. We know some money's involved.
Of course. And
that's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, he's looking to do something, whether he's running for politics eventually or what have you. But they know, and the same thing with the Seahawks or any team. They know bringing Kaepernick to their team, they're going to have protesters.
Right, there's a potential to lose money. and
Right,
that's the
ticket
problem.
sales and stuff like that will be affected. Because again, last season, people have kneeled. But it wasn't Colin Kaepernick. The same way when Michael Vick went to jail. And so certain people will bring a negative impact to their ticket sales, and it'll change the narrative of the team's story and all that stuff.
You say that other people kneeled, the guy that was kneeling with Cap, what's his name? In San Francisco.
Eric Reed.
Eric Reed. He didn't get signed anywhere else.
His contract expired and now he's a free agent.
Couldn't you say that proves collusion?
Again, it doesn't prove collusion.
No, it doesn't, because Michael Bennett also was kneeling and he has other jobs.
I'm saying
He got traded.
with collusion.
He still has a job.
But he got traded.
but
He still
got
under contract.
Right, he still was under contract. Right.
We're talking about giving somebody a new
Cap
contract.
restructured his contract.
But in the NFL, it's easy to just void somebody's contract.
Yeah, but not everybody wants to eat
But
money.
you can't, right? And to do right, there's the penalty and the reasoning.
Exactly. You don't want to eat money, and then you have to explain it to the players.
So they'll just have you benched, or just say you're falling off.
Well, he got arrested.
He got arrested, so he did them a favor. he did them a favor.
Boom, he got arrested.
Right.
You know what?
But yeah,
contract void.
Eric Reed is a free agent now. And now it doesn't. So with collusion, you got to prove that I think it's 2 or 3 people involved are
what
they shook
constitutes a
hands.
party of people, right?
And the thing is, these guys are already of the same mindset, so they don't have to make a conference call to say what we're doing. They just got to look at each other and nod and say, "You know what it is. You know what it is." That's it. So and Kaepernick's lawyer said that he had some evidence,
right?
And that was months ago. You know what I'm saying? And
nothing's been released yet. So
right.
It's
so we don't know if they're negotiating something or
it's still going on. I know. Like I said, I told you guys off camera. Like I know Cap was supposed to get interviewed soon about his part of the story.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens to that. But we've been waiting for months for them to say they said they had something that he would get a job, within a week, and the season came and went and he never got a job. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So we're still waiting on that. But we'll see what happens with that. But these are just our thoughts. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Please share, and we want to hear your point of view on this as well, because It's just us talking.
Give us your theories, because we're
We don't
running out
know.
of them.
Right. We don't
Is
know.
this collusion?
We just talking.
Right.
But since we were on the topic of politics and things, politics and celebrities, which is a
politics
big
and
thing now.
celebrities now,
Politics and celebrities. So Cynthia Nixon,
Right.
from Sex and the City fame,
Sex and the City.
is now running for governor of New York State.
Yes.
It's just interesting just saying that.
Right.
But to make it even more interesting, one of her major points of interest is
Legalizing marijuana
marijuana.
for recreational use.
Yeah.
Because the medicinal's already here.
Right.
But for recreational. So kind of going Colorado style.
Right.
In Cali too, isn't it?
California also went this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, where do we begin with that? Sex and the City.
It's very. You know what?
Does she have any political background?
No, but that doesn't matter anymore.
But now you're right. What's her Twitter account? We gotta follow her on
because
Twitter.
You gotta have a Twitter account and you gotta rant a couple of times.
Right.
Honestly, it doesn't really matter because Arnold Schwarzenegger had no political background.
He was married to Maria Shriver, who
Right.
was a Kennedy.
Right.
was-
Yeah.
So she had guidance?
Just
He
like
had
Bill,
more guidance
just like
than-
Bill Clinton.
He had
He
more guidance.
married Hillary Rodham, who was a
Right.
family of so.
Yeah, Arnold had more knowledge
Well, you don't know.
of
Maybe
politics.
she had. I mean, maybe she got some back. She got some
Look,
back.
right. I don't know. I don't know her.
I don't.
like the
Jesse
knowledge.
Ventura. What was his word?
Right. But
Thank
that,
Eventually,
but
Linda McMahon into politics.
right, and she's a senator, right?
Right.
So, look, everything is possible.
6 degrees separation.
Look, there's no qualifications to be in office. All you got to be is a certain age and the right citizenship.
Ronald Reagan was an actor. Ronald Reagan was an actor before he became. He was governor first, I think, but then president.
I don't recall. But
Yeah.
he was in California.
I think he was governor of California first, and then
I think he
became
was
president
governor,
of the United States. So he was an actor. So this is not a new thing.
Right,
Maybe
it's
it's
not
just
a new
more in
thing.
abundance now, and we're in a Twitter.
Right. You know what it is?
age.
I think now it's that. I guess at that time you would say maybe because. Like Arnold, he was a big superstar,
Right.
Superstar. But
Action
now,
hero.
right? But now it's like, B-list maybe.
Yeah.
Hers is odd just because what Sex and the City was. It was
Right.
a very mature audience program. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not the one they show on E now where
Right,
everything
with
is
very
censored.
yeah.
Right. HBO
But
is
you
different.
know what's interesting? It makes sense now in this Me Too era, and women's rights are
Right.
pushed to the forefront. Time's Up, and all these other hashtags. That show was very feminist, forward thinking,
right,
empowering.
yes.
So she may still have that bill. She may get more. If she ran for president, she might get more female voters than Hillary did. She might have
Possible.
a bigger female following. Especially in this day and age where they want Oprah to run. And
Right.
Nobody got her emails.
Like I said, I don't know what's her.
And she's running for governor. I don't want to confuse
Right, I don't know
president.
what's her extent of
Yeah.
knowledge as far as political goes.
Right.
But like I said, it doesn't matter.
But
that
her,
much
how many followers literally does she have? It's
Right.
not her following, but her followers.
But not just that, but also the platform that you're running on, and
Right.
and that platform of legalizing weed, I think, is huge here, and just anywhere in the United States because it's just too much money there. It's just too much money to leave on the table on a drug that has been classified so high that it's higher than cocaine.
Right.
And you can get, I don't know how many years you get for a stupid possession, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
When meantime, these other substances are worse, like the opioids things. That
Right.
those are legal,
Right.
And that's
those
been
are
for
legal,
years.
right? So it's just I think it's just the times change, and now people see that the propaganda worked in the '60s when Nixon did it,
Right.
And
'Cause he said Mexicans are dangerous.
and he admitted why he did it, and why he did the war on drugs.
Right. The war on drug dealers.
Everybody knows this. Everybody knows why he did it, and then why it was totally just racial profiling. Everybody knows it. So now people are starting to move away from that, and they're starting to, recognize that this it does have its purposes.
Because it's funny. It's funny when bringing up the whole war on drugs thing. Like I said, the war on drug dealers. When you look at today, the biggest drug dealers are doctors. Because now the drug of choice is prescription pills, and so all you need is a pad.
Yeah,
So it's no longer in the streets.
Right.
It's no longer the hand-to-hand.
They hand out the opioids. They hand out the the medicines for the
Xanax and the Percocets and all that stuff is the issue now.
Yeah.
But there's no war on that.
Right.
There's no
why? Because that's regulated and taxed, and they get their cut.
exactly.
So
and that's what it all comes. And again, it comes down to the money.
it comes down to the money, and I think I would just let it. Just legalize it. Get that money in. We need that money here. Look at buildings falling apart here and scaffolding falling on us.
It varies. I mean, New York is doing good where it wants to do good. I mean,
it has decriminalized weed for the most part.
It lowered it. It hasn't decriminalized it.
In terms of where it was, has come.
It pulled back, yes, but it's still not.
It's just like. I mean, to say decriminalization, or it's not saying it's completely legal or completely. It's no different than I say, yo, I hate you. Oh, you said something else. Like, no, I never said all of that. Like, you can't. I mean, if you say one thing and then you bring it back a little bit, you step back a little bit. It's still a somewhat of a decriminalization
right.
of it. It's not completely like that, but from where it was, it has fell back more and more, and that mainly is because of New York City. De Blasio actually did, say, less time on these kind of things.
Right, that's what it is. They just scaled back the penalty on it.
That stop and frisk.
They make you a fine instead of giving you 10 years. They're giving you a fine this time.
Which is still better than your life.
It's progress. Yes, it's progress. But if they go that route and make it legalized, then you have this whole new revenue stream coming in to a city that needs it. I mean, look at them. TIA needs all this structural.
I mean,
they got money. They just put some new stickers on the trains with the arrows, to go and walk to the
wasting money on stickers.
And the E-train. You see they revamped the E-train.
I don't know, man.
Take a ride on the E. There's Wi-Fi, but there's little animal prints on there and stuff.
Right, but getting back to Nixon's platform, her reasoning, she's saying yes, the money is good, but hers is going back to the social injustice. She just feels that for years, white, Americans have been able to get away with using weed more than minorities have.
Right.
So she feels that if that changes, then arrests will go down of minorities, of these kinds of things, because they're still targeted now, even with the less.
Should get that black vote, huh?
They still. Dude, that's what I'm saying. Do we feel she really believes that, or is she just saying that for vote?
Why wouldn't I mean? I don't know. I don't know her, so I can't say.
Right.
But
she could actually be onto something, which I think that's kind of the trend of America now. We're kind of leading into
we need more progressive thinkers.
Right.
That's what it is. Bottom line.
Because I think back when they had the whole weed or marijuana was outlawed, was because forgot who was the president at that time, was flown out, the son, I can't remember the story exactly like that, but I remember also seeing, hearing that monkeys, back when they were having, the mask on their face and so forth, you were pumping marijuana into them, like they had no oxygen. So of course, if you have a mask and you're only pumping in certain things into me and I can't breathe, yeah, I'm gonna die. So that was a whole idea behind marijuana being this horrible drug.
So more classic misdirection.
It was right, but it was a lot of, because it was Nixon that started the whole war on drugs. They classified it that way because it was multiple things. If you read a lot, there's more info, but one part of it they say was not just that because of black votes, but also because of the lobbyists of the paper industry, because hemp was starting to become popular. Hemp is, you can grow it real quick because it's a weed, it's not a tree, and it's they can make a lot of it. You can make clothing and all this nonsense from it. So it was becoming too much that they felt that their industry was going to be threatened.
And you had hippies at the time,
right? And so then they're like, oh, but look, you don't want to be like these hippies here in the grass and blah blah blah. So they spun it another way. They spun it. They're like, no, that's bad for you.
Right.
They go this way.
Hippies have also made a return right now. The hipsters are now the thing now. So,
but yeah, it just comes down to that. It's always going to come down to money and money.
you can. I mean, let's say if you can find a way, because they made money off of other things that will kill you more, or just likely to kill you. Cigarettes.
Yep.
Alcohol.
Cigarettes and alcohol. Alcohol is one of the biggest one because people get drunk, they drive, they kill
That's
people.
what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
meanwhile, alcohol has not been outlawed since prohibition,
Yeah.
and that was what the 20s,
Yeah.
30s, something like that.
Yeah,
But
something like that. Yeah.
like marijuana, of course, conspiracy theories. You've had U.S. government, CIA, and so forth. Having drug lords in Colombia.
We fund a lot out of them.
That's what I'm saying. But like the whole heroin trade or coke trade. We had that come here, flood the streets. Here and so forth. So the government probably has made money off of.
Oh no, not even probably.
No,
They definitely
they-
have.
No. But I'm saying, but we can't talk about that on the books.
Right.
But now marijuana. To understand like the whole just say no to drugs. Things of our era. Those.
Because it didn't work.
It has definitely been shown that there has been more proof to saying that it's not as bad as cigarettes.
It's not as bad as cigarettes, and it's definitely not as bad as the other drugs that it's a higher.
Right.
So it was definitely misclassified on purpose, and it was demonized purposely, which I think just get out of the dark ages. Just
Connecticut had to try to find their way back to say damn, we could have really made some money for that.
Yeah, and now you could, like I'm telling you,
that.
just the hemp alone will create a lot. Just
But if you think about it,
Here comes a conspiracy theory.
no, it is. It is. And I'm gonna try to tie to Cynthia Nixon.
Okay.
And in terms of how it's
'Cause it was
progressed.
in New York.
No. I'm gonna try to tie it back to her. But if you think about it, marijuana, because all drugs, because the whole opium, I don't know why it's even a big deal now. White kids been high off of opioids for years and so forth. I don't know.
dying
You
now,
just
that's
answered your own
the problem.
question.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't know why now it's like.
They're dying more.
I can't- yeah,
That's
like-
the problem.
Because it's silly. But black, minorities, blacks, Hispanics, whatever, we were always the big time drug dealers, and our main drug that we were associated with
Right.
was weed.
Yeah.
Government makes money off of prisoners.
Not the government.
No, well,
Right. It depends. They're private owned, and
Most of them are private owned.
Yeah.
They
And
get
they do have-
cutbacks from the lobbyists.
Right.
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. So it all ties back
Yes, it
somehow.
all goes, yes.
So we were the taxable commodities. Like we were going to jail, for weed possession, selling, distribution, and so forth like that. So now you've gone from making money off of us, not saying us as minorities, you made money off of us for years, just being prisoners.
Right.
Not so much for us selling a product that you didn't want to legalize because we will make money off it too. We can make legit money off it as well as the government can make legit money off it. They didn't want profit sharing like that. So now you go from saying, okay, forward thinking, how can I now appeal to black people, but also try to make money for ourselves. Let's make them not the criminals of drugs. Well, for weed, let's just say that. Let's make them less likely to do, to be these hardcore drug dealers and so forth. We're still going to be the drug dealers because we don't have planes. We're not flying. We can probably grow weed in our backyard, but we're not growing that much damn stuff to sell. So, the government's still going to make money off it anyway, whether it be us being in prison or whether it be at a retail shop. So you kill that profit of us being prisoners. Now you're going to say we're going to make it legal, help black people out allegedly. So let's make weed legal. And now New York has probably been one of the hardest the hardest states of that. I don't probably think us in Texas have probably been one of the two hardest states when it comes to drugs. So Cynthia's whole idea of trying to make it nicer for black people and so forth is probably just another way of trying to say, look, we can find other ways to make money off of blacks. Then I'm not saying that's her stance, but I'm saying we can probably think of
views and opinions.
I'm not the views and opinions are not Cynthia Nixon, but we can find ways to make money off of blacks not being prisoners and still make money for ourselves. So that's just a progressive way of thinking because she has the progressive view, of that. Everybody else, like these older people, that think, no, drugs are still bad. Yeah. Weed is still bad.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, we can make money off them other ways now.
Right. Well, eventually we'll see if she really believes that or if that's just her stance to get in. But an interesting thing that you brought up was us being the commodity. Right. And that brings me to Mark Zuckerberg being on having a trial hearing about the internet, and there's a company, Cambridge Analytica, who had like an app on Facebook that, as of now, it says that basically was data mining users' information and selling it overseas. A lot of user information was leaked out from people that used the app, and they also claiming that they were responsible for giving information to Russia to somehow tamper with the election again.
Everything leads back to that road.
So yeah, so when you say we were the commodity or we were the asset or the money piece, it's interesting because that Cambridge Analytica created an app of some sort to get the information.
What's it an app?
It's one of those Facebook apps. Like they have things where you enter information in.
I thought they were getting information from apps.
They created the apps. That company made the apps. Yeah.
Are you sure? Because I thought they were just basically they can sell you info, the ones that they legally sell. But this time around they got more than what was the legal thing. Yeah, that's what I was under the impression. So they mine so much personal info.
They like a lot of those into your horoscope or find your lovers. Or
those
what's
stupid
your
questions.
soul. Yeah, I know. They create a lot of those.
Okay, but like questionnaires and things. Okay,
right.
Okay.
And what they would do is, even though you wouldn't give them all the information, they would use that as a way into the rest of your account.
Once they know your IP.
Right. So you're thinking you're just safe because you're just telling them your first name and your birthday.
They don't care about that.
But they're getting all of the other Facebook information in the back end. The issue. So
that's the thing. People gotta remember is that if you want something free, that's what happens. The company's making their money. They're selling your stuff.
Right. And that's what's interesting about this whole trial thing because Mark Zuckerberg was not even on trial, but Mark Zuckerberg was there.
Yeah, the hearing.
But you should also have the CEO of Microsoft, Apple, Google. They all data mine our information. Yeah. Google got rich before they even sold anything.
Yeah, because they have it.
They have and even Mark was saying their main source of income is ad revenue.
Yeah,
and for them to get the ads and gear it towards the user, they're given specific information.
Right.
Google searches, recent clicks, cookies in your browser, all of that stuff. So
all that. It creates
for them to focus on Mark Zuckerberg, again, classic misdirection because he's the name. He's he's a face that we all know, and Facebook is the thing, so they can say we're gonna get them. But it's like you can look at any. What is the NSA is known for mining all of our information because the Patriot Act was formed to say, okay, if we believe such and such is a terrorist, we have a right to get their online information and such, and that can be used against us at any time.
Could they build a profile on us?
Right,
on everybody.
So Zuckerberg, he is now the fall guy. So the government can make us feel comfortable, like, see, they do care.
Right.
They're stopping
care for
this.
Our privacy.
Like this could have been bad. Right. It could have got worse, but the government stepped in and they're going to show that Mark Zuckerberg guy.
None of them. They just want it controlled. That's all.
Yeah, right.
They want your data
Agreed.
because that helps them, for example,
Profile
somebody and build a campaign to gear towards that target, and that's what they say Trump did, and that's why the Russians wanted the info. That's why they have so many of the fake accounts and whatnot.
Isn't it funny that Cardi's album's called Invasion of Privacy?
Invasion of privacy.
It is, and it's gonna happen. Even anytime you're out there on social media, anything. It's going to track you. It's going to make it, and I get it. You want as much privacy as possible, but you at the same time, you know what you're getting into. You posting your life up in the.
Once you're in the grid, you're in the matrix. You got to be, and that's a funny thing because a lot of people post stuff, but then tell people mind your business. Or they'll say something and then get mad about the perception that someone has of them, and it's like, well, you're creating that perception.
Yeah.
And that's just the surface. That's just pictures you post or comments you make. That's not even the background stuff. So anyone looking or following you is going to already. So people forget that, just posting such and such or whatever, someone's obviously going to base an opinion of that, especially if they don't know you or whatever. Yeah. And vice versa. Those that do know you're lying when you post some you know what I'm saying?
But all of a sudden you've made this public. So there's no longer private. So why are you complaining about your privacy?
Right. And public, and when you make a private page, it's even funnier because it's like you have a social media page, but then you want to keep it private, but it's like
it defeats the purpose of social media.
The whole purpose of social media.
You only want your inner circle to know.
Right.
But then you accept people you don't even know.
Exactly.
Right. It's just like you're not,
Look, the only thing I will say that they should have been more upfront about is that we are selling your data to somebody. Just make it clear. Just say, part of the agreement is that we will sell your info. We will store it.
It probably is there, but we don't read.
And Zuckerberg said that too. They asked him about that, and which is funny. Again, the government is asking him some stuff about do your users read that? And it's like, how many contracts y'all got that we don't read, or how many bills are passed that we don't like? Y'all do the same thing.
Right, but again, that just brings it back. That's in fine print, right? But I'm talking about just something that's there in your face, saying, "Hey, potentially we can use here for market research."
Like
whatever,
but had that big like, "Hey, we're going to sell it,"
off and say yes.
Go back to
right. And I think if they would have done that, it would have been all right.
But nobody does that for obvious reasons.
But it's like if you actually read through the whole, what was the ULLA, whatever,
the end user legal agreement.
If you read through the whole thing, you're probably gonna say, hell no, I don't want none of this happening. Decline. Then you can't even access anything.
Right.
And then it's like, well, damn, I can't.
I want to be on it because all my friends are on it.
Right. So, well, but that's still your choice, right?
It is.
Right.
So,
that's what I'm saying. Like, people just going to hit agree because they just want to have whatever.
Well, then that's
whatever,
them, right?
Right. Whatever.
And I want to like. I do want things to be probably shared less, but at the same time, if I want to use a certain product or whatever, I always have to hit agree because as soon as you say disagree, whatever. You can't. You're basically useless. Like you're basically living with the grid after that.
Right.
And nobody wants to live with the grid.
As long as they're not directly telling my whereabouts, hey, he just walked into 87 Plaza.
Let me bring this to your attention. Are you aware that apps like Angry Birds actually accesses the GPS in your phone and give the location?
You read it.
Right. And a lot of people are unaware of that.
No,
you know what I'm saying? So
a lot of things, get you for your contacts.
And there's no need for it. Right.
There's no need
your
for
microphone,
the camera.
And the other thing is that people don't know is that you can install it, right? And once you install it, you go through your phone settings and you go into the app settings and you can turn those off specifically.
But again, a lot of people don't.
Not all. Yeah.
But there's some because I played the marble game. If I deny just one thing, you can't use the game.
Yeah.
Or you can't use certain there's certain apps. There's certain apps. If you can say, hey, I agree, check. All right, I'm using it. Then you go through the settings and you try to take out one thing. It'll render it useless, and then a message will pop up saying you must allow X, Y, and Z to
I haven't had a problem disabling something. Like most of the time, I disable location.
Right. That's why I say, that's why I say it's funny that Zuckerberg was there. You know what I'm saying? Because like it should have been a whole table of CEOs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then again, he's the face of the internet now, kind of. He used to be like Bill Gates, and now it's Mark Zuckerberg.
It's because this particular one got the
Cambridge Analytica, right?
And that's why it just became a thing.
And it was funny because most of them that were doing the questioning was mentioning the user data mining and user information being sent out. But what was his name? Ted Cruz. He took the opportunity to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna get him, Trump. I got you." And he brought up.
He said, "Your other side, it's about to go down."
Mr. Zuckerberg, I will say there are a great many Americans who I think are deeply concerned that Facebook and other tech companies are engaged in a pervasive pattern of bias and political censorship. There have been numerous instances with Facebook. In May of 2016, Gizmodo reported that Facebook had purposely and routinely suppressed conservative stories from trending news, including stories about CPAC, including stories about Mitt Romney, and the Lois Lerner IRS scandal, and Glenn Beck. In addition to that, Facebook has initially shut down the Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day page, a Fox News reporter, over 24 Catholic pages, and most recently blocked Trump supporters Diamond and Silk's page with 1.2 million Facebook followers after determining their content and brand were, quote, unsafe to the community.
It was like there was an agenda of his own. He was like, "It's my go."
Yeah.
You hate Republicans, don't you? Like it was like, whoa. Like
Sir, I am a Republican. How could I hate my own self?
And another interesting thing about the whole thing was the awkwardness of 40, 50, 60-year-old and up. Because one dude, like, he was,
that dude just
elderly people asking, Mark Zuckerberg about the internet. And questioning the internet and them being unfamiliar with it themselves.
Right.
It just was so awkward. He's trying to explain to them something, but they had a point they were trying to prove, and it was like a clash. And
they were like 20 years behind. How come my modem makes this sound?
Right. It was just so awkward. And he chuckled and smiled sometimes because it was just like, because we all know Mark Zuckerberg he's sort of a vain person. He's but it was just like, he realized I'm talking to a bunch of idiots. Like, he
explains to grandparents.
Right. And that's exactly what it seemed like. And they were, trying to, at one point, try to prove to him that they know some stuff, but then try to catch him in some other stuff. And they were mad because he wasn't giving them the answers they wanted. And they felt as if he was avoiding the question. But he was like, well, let me break it down to you. Because it's not just that. It's... Right. And they're like, well, just say yes. And like, it's not a yes or no. What you're asking is technically this, but this is how it works. And they're like, because I just clicked that, and
it doesn't.
I remember one thing that was like, so if I use WhatsApp and I say something to somebody about a certain product, do you get the information from WhatsApp? And he's like, no, because WhatsApp is encrypted. But WhatsApp, I'm trying to ask you about WhatsApp,
right? And because
if my man say, yo, I got some news here that I got sent,
but I'm saying, because
y'all gonna get that?
If you look on the Wikipedia page, Facebook owns WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in their mind, we got him. We got him because he owns that too. And it's like, yeah, but I'm the CEO of the overall company, but that division handles that. Right. And you guys should be aware of that. Right. But the internet to older people is something different from any other company. Where it's like, no, this company is ran as any company is ran. I am the chief executive officer, and there are people that handle this division and so on. But they're like, it's internet. It's the internet. It's all internet.
Right.
You are the internet, Mr. Zuckerberg. You had a movie.
You have to
called The Social Network. Right. You are the guy. We're talking to you. And he's like, no.
I mean, who you gonna call? You gonna call Tom?
Right. And that's why it was funny because one of the guys asked him. Right. One of the guys asked him. He was like, who was your direct competition? And Mark was like, well, technically, in some form, it's Apple, Microsoft, so Google, and another form it might be. And they're like, well, no, well, who's your direct competition? They were trying to get him to focus on, say, Twitter specifically, because they had an agenda of a point they wanted to prove, but he had to break it down to them like, you can go to Grubhub and log in through Facebook. You can go, so it's bigger than just social media. You can play games on this. You can say gaming platforms are my competition. You know, it's in phones and stuff. It brings contacts. So you can say I'm the phone competition.
Right.
Like, so he's like, I have different competitors. I'm not just looking out for them. I'm like, I gotta watch them, because different aspects. So, and the guy was just like, just answer the question. Like, he was getting frustrated, and Mark was just like, "Dog, I'm bigger than that. Like, you don't know who you're talking to." Like,
I want him to say Black Planet wasn't competition.
and they were trying to get him to say Twitter because they wanted to compare user accounts to say, because he tried to say, "Oh, you have a monopoly on the internet," and even Mark Zuckerberg was like, "I don't feel like I have a monopoly on," like, you know what I'm saying, and. He's like, I'm just a piece of it, and it's a lot more, and you guys just don't get how it works. You know what I'm saying? But
they just need to say, you have vibranium, right?
Right. You know what I'm saying? We heard about this thing called vibranium, and we know you got it. You know, and you know the coordinates of Wakanda, and we want to get there. We know you know. Like, you know, they were just.
Do you have yellow cake?
Don't drop that. Like, they were just. It was just so awkward. If you haven't seen it, I'll probably put a link in it below. But
can we get the vibranium?
You know, like
where do you keep it?
It's just so awkward seeing a bunch of elderly people
We
try
gonna
to
need it from North Korea.
right. They coming. We about to bomb Syria next week. I mean, oil. I mean, that's all we got for now. As always, comment below. We want to hear your opinion on it. Like, share, subscribe. Once again, to my right, Jared, give your social media out again. Please.
Why? Did I say something?
All right, I'm gonna put that under there. To my left, to my left, Ben. Give your social media because Jared's scared. Like, as if I don't know it.
2022.
I could just edit and loop that if I wanted to. Like, man.
Around the world 85.
Yeah, alrighty then. And I'm Paulie the Bull on Twitter, Instagram _1080p_, and it's a 2021 vision across all social media. You know, subscribe, follow, like, and do all that stuff to be up to date with it. Because there's a lot more to come. And we got something special coming soon, so be on the lookout for that.
Comment.
But on that note, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the show, hit the like button. Share it. Tell your friends about it. Let them know what's going on. Also, hit subscribe and the bell to be notified when new content is loaded, because there's much, much more to come.